Two sisters divided by time, each with a terrible resentment she can barely contain. Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome to my channel Rajiv's Reviews. In this video, I am going to review a book that I've been excited to get my hands on because it has been one of my favorite series growing up. This book is none other than the first book in the Return to the Fear Street series, You May Now Kill the Bride by Stine. The book starts off in the 1920s where we meet Ruth Ann and Rebecca, two sisters who are part of the Fear family. The two sisters resent each other for various reasons, but mainly because Ruth Ann hates the fact that Rebecca is getting married to Peter, who Ruth Ann also likes. Shift to the present day scenario where we see Harmony and Marissa, who are also sisters of the Fear family, and in somewhat the same circumstances. Marissa is getting married in the same place that Rebecca was getting married to 100 years ago. As the story progresses, there are some terrible incidents that happen in both the timelines, and Harmony finds herself in a deadly situation that she must get out of. I used to be a huge fan of the original Fear Street novels back in the 90s. I know a lot of people prefer reading the Goosebumps series to the Fear Street series. Personally, I did not even read Goosebumps that much, but I used to love the Fear Street series books because they seemed to be directed towards the teens and more adult. Some of these books were great, some of them were really bad, but I remember I used to be glued to each and every one of them. When the new Fear Street relaunch series came out a few years ago, I was super excited. Some of the novels in that series were pretty much decent, but nowhere as good as the original. The new Return to Fear Street series is the latest relaunch of the original and it does not disappoint. Firstly, before I talk about the story, I need to mention how much I love this cover design. It has a very creepy retro look to it, and the covers also look like they have been aged and worn out to give it a very vintage look. I knew I had to read this book just by looking at the cover. The main reason this book is so good is because of its suspense. You may think you know what is going on and that the book is very predictable, but the author completely changes focus and keeps you guessing as to what's going to happen next. I felt that the story significantly picked up in the second half when Harmony starts searching for Marissa. There are so many things happening to the characters in the story in the second half that you really don't know if Harmony is just crazy and she is just imagining the whole thing, or if these things are actually happening to her. Another reason why I liked this book was because the reveal in the end actually made sense and it was somewhat satisfying. In a lot of R.L. Stine novels, the build-up is so good and so suspenseful, but the climax in the end is a complete disappointment. Sometimes he would have ended like, oh, it was all a dream, or oh, it was all part of a story that a character was writing for a book, where the entire plot would have just been fake. I really get frustrated when I read these kind of endings because I think the author just gets lazy and wants to conclude the story in some way. However, in this novel, the ending actually made sense for the most part and it actually seemed plausible. Also, if you are a fan of the original series, you would remember that Stine had written another set of books as part of the franchise known as the Fear Street Sagas, where he basically told about the rivalry between the Fear family and the Good family, and how the curse of Fear Street began with the rivalry between the two families, which was spanning across generations. While this book really does not have any significant connection towards the Fear Street sagas, it does provide homage to those books by including the rivalry between the two families into this plot. But I did have two minor issues with this book. The first being, I really did not care for much of the characters. This is not really a big deal because character focus was never really a big thing in these Fear Street books. As long as there are suspenseful and eerie moments, these books are fun to read. Still, I don't understand how Ruth Ann and Harmony hated Marissa and Rebecca so much throughout the book and suddenly started feeling sorry for them towards their wedding. Secondly, I felt like the ending was very rushed and there was not any closure provided as to what happens to some of the characters. Overall, I did enjoy this book though, and I think it's a great start to the new Fear Street series books. I give it a rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait to pick up the next book in the series called The Wrong Girl. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and comment on the section below on your thoughts and opinions. I will see you next time. Bye.